EDC to work hand in hand with impacted neighborhoods to develop comprehensive traffic mitigation plans that address the specific needs and concerns of each community. This collaborative approach will ensure that the voices of those most affected by cruise ship traffic are heard facing each neighborhood. Perhaps most importantly, proposed intro number 4A elevates shore power requirements from a voluntary port policy to a legally binding mandate. By codifying these standards into law, we are sending a clear message that reducing emissions and improving air quality around our city's cruise terminals is not just a suggestion, but a non-negotiable priority. This will have a profound impact on the health and well-being of our communities surrounding the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal in Red Hook and the Manhattan Cruise Terminal on the west side, which have long suffered from the negative effects of cruise ship emissions. With these enhancements, proposed intro number 4A represents a comprehensive and effective approach to the tackling of the environmental and congestion challenges posed by cruise ships. Make no mistake, this is a landmark piece of legislation that will cement New York City's position as a leader in the fight against climate change and environmental injustice in its port operations. I want to thank Councilmember Aviles as well as the advocates and community members who have worked tirelessly to get to this point. Finally, I'd like to thank the Economic Development team here at the Council, Senior Counsel Alex Polinoff, Senior Policy Analyst William Hongach, and Finance Analyst Glenn Martelloni for all their hard work in ensuring this bill made it to a vote. With that, I urge my
Red Hook, the first on the East Coast, that was directly directly evolved from their work as advocates. So we are at our best as legislators when bills we write reflect the residents' wants and desires and needs. And so while this measure is far from perfect, it does begin to address an environmental impact and traffic mitigation concerns that long have gone unaddressed. And as you mentioned, this is a climate justice win for our communities, but for our city. As people know, idling cruise ship emissions are equal to 34,000 tractor-trailer idling trucks, and in a more recent study, 1 million idling cars. This will have a huge impact. So I just want to thank everyone. I urge my colleagues to vote aye and look forward to continuing to decarbonize our city, prioritize the health and wellness of our residents, and make sure that we are protecting our air and our water. So thank you so much. I vote aye.
I'll now call on the committee council to call the roll.
Good morning, William Martin, Committee Clerk. Roll call vote, Committee on Economic Development. Proposed introduction 4A, Chair Farias.
I proudly vote aye, and congratulations, Councilmember Aviles.
Salamanca.
Aye and all.
Thank you. Riley.
Aye, and congratulations, Councilmember Aviles.
Aviles.
Now I get to proudly vote aye, and I want to thank the Economic Development Task Force Committee members for your hard work. Deeply appreciated.
Thank you. Botcher.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
I really want to thank Councilmember Alexa Aviles for her leadership on behalf of not just her constituents at Red Hook, but our constituents on the west side of Manhattan. This is such a great example of government being responsive to what's going on out there in the world, and it's an example of the laws catching up with what's happening out there in the world. It's the same kind of thing we're seeing with lithium-ion batteries. Policies that were behind the curve, catching up to get a handle on that problem. Here we have the laws catching up to get a handle on the problem of cruise ship emissions at port. Each cruise ship at port emits the same kind of emissions as 34,000 diesel trucks per day. That has been ignored for too long by government. This bill, by turning the electrification at port from a voluntary program to a legally binding one will have incredible benefits for our constituents for decades to come. I want to thank everyone who is part of this. I vote aye.
Gutierrez.
I vote aye and felicidades.
Thank you. Vernikov. With a vote of 6 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, and no abstentions, item is adopted by the committee.
Thank you so much, everyone. This committee vote is now adjourned.